In the event that any concept shall receive the full number of votes required to enable it to be put on the ballot to be legally enacted as law, it shall automatically be directly presented on said website within 24 hours of it reaching said number of votes to each member of the voting public that will see it on their ballot to be voted upon in the nearest upcoming election, so that they can have as much time as possible to properly consider it before voting on it. Furthermore, the ability of any and all members of the voting public to alter their list of friends shall be limited to 1 change per calendar year, except in the case of the loss of life to anyone registered as one's friend. Said 1 change per calendar year may include the exchange of any number of existing friends for that of new friends, so long as said change occurs within a single act of transmitting one's updated list of friends to the mechanisms that actually update said website. Furthermore, any act of disseminating any personal information gathered by said website for any reason by any party who has not been specifically given signed written consent to use such information for the exact purpose that they are disseminating it by those people about whom said information is in reference to shall be considered an act of tampering with said website by those parties who have disseminated said personal information without being given said signed written consent. Furthermore, other than that of their agreement to use said website lawfully and or to contractually gain access to the internet through a paid internet service provider, provided that said contract in no way makes any stipulation as to any ability to freely access and fully utilize said website, no member of the voting public shall ever be lawfully required to give their signed written consent to anyone for any reason as a requirement of their being able to freely access and fully utilize said website. Furthermore, it shall be considered a non-pardonable crime punishable by 10 years spent in the general population of the nation's most dangerous prison for any party to request and or demand that any member of the voting public ever in any way relinquish their right to freely access and fully utilize said website. Furthermore, any citizen of the United States of America who is found guilty of tampering with said website and or said website's ability to be transmitted, viewed, and fully functional shall be guilty of the non-pardonable crime of treason, which will result in a minimum sentence of 20 years spent in the general population of the nation's most dangerous prison, unless such sentence is overturned by a 2/3 majority of the voting public. Anyone who is not a citizen of the United States of America who is found to be guilty of tampering with said website and or said website's ability to be transmitted, viewed, and fully functional shall be considered a sovereign enemy of the state who is attempting to overthrow the government of the United States of America and will be subject to the sentencing that shall be decided by a simple majority of the voting public of the United States of America. Furthermore, said website shall be fully operational and available for use as described above within 6 months of that which is contained within this document becoming amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America.